guys, Jamie the crafty DIY guy. Welcome to my channel. Now, if you love modern farmhouse, or country DIY decor, this video is perfect for you. All of these items are super transitional and could easily be made to really fit within any decor scheme. I love a lot of these, and some of them are even Kirkland's dupes. And of course, before we get into the projects, I want to say thank you to my long-term subscribers. I truly appreciate you guys being here. If you are a newer subscriber to the channel, welcome. Hopefully you will become a long-term subscriber very soon as well. If you are just now checking out the channel, maybe you're brand new because YouTube recommended this to you. Thank you, YouTube. I hope that you'll stick around and subscribe and hit that notification bell wherever it is. And you'll get notified every time I upload a new video. All right, guys, let's get into it. Right, everyone, and for my first project, we are going to be using one of these Dollar Tree signs that you can pick up in the garden section. Also some wooden dowel rods and another Dollar Tree sign that has a really cool frame to it. The first thing I did was pop the back of that frame off. I apologize for not showing you guys this. I was a complete bonehead and didn't film that or the crisscross pattern that you see on the back of the frame. That was simply just cutting down the dowel rods and crisscrossing them on the back side. Now I'm taking my antiquing wax and we're just going to cover the sticks themselves, and then I'm going to wipe away any of the excess wax with a paper towel. Now, I did film this part, and I took the flower outside and I spray painted it white. I did this with the Rust-Oleum, kind of a matte finished paint that I use a lot for a lot of different projects. This particular one did take 2 coats, so after that first coat and it dried, I went in there with a second coat and my flower came out perfectly white. Now that everything is dry, it's time to go ahead and start assembling this. For that flower, all I'm going to do is just glue this onto the sticks themselves. You can see with the back of the flower that there are some raised areas, and all I'm going to do is just kind of eyeball that. The flower won't sit flat on the sticks by themselves because of the depth difference. So all you have to do is line your flower up and then just kind of eyeball it where you want to add your hot glue. I'm adding some Surebonder glue here. That is a all-purpose glue. And then, as you will see, once I have all these glue globs in place, then I'm just going to take that flower, pick it up, and hold it up against those sticks, making sure that everything is lined up properly, and it will hold nicely. Then once everything is done, I am going to distress this and age it just a little bit. I'm taking the leftover antiquing wax that was on my brush from earlier, and I'm just kind of doing a dry brush technique. I'm going along those flower petals, and then I'll go along the edging of the frame itself. Once it's all done, this is what it looks like. I really love this. It definitely has a very cool kind of modern farmhouse look to it. I think that you could easily replicate this and make several of these. I think it would make a huge, gorgeous impact if you were to maybe make 6 to 8 of these and have them all hanging on a wall. It could be a gorgeous focal point in your living room, dining room, or bedroom. All right, you guys, guess what? The bonehead goof has struck again. I grabbed this crystal clear serving dish from Dollar Tree. It was in the party section, and then I spray painted it with some terracotta spray paint. So you didn't really miss too much, I guess you could say. And then all I did was take each individual section. I filled it up with 3 different types of fillers. One was rocks, one was the birch pieces, and the other one were those little kind of twine balls that you can get at Dollar Tree. Then I added some Dollar Tree succulents, and I have the cutest little planter for my coffee table. I really like the way this turned out. I wish that I could get my stuff together today and show you guys a better video, but again, I think it turned out really cute, and I think you'll agree that this one is pretty easy to do. Guess what? I think I finally have it together now. We are going to take some of these Dollar Tree stencils. I also have a roll of this burlap that I grabbed, I believe it was from Amazon. And then I have the cutest little product from Arteza. It is these tiny little easels. Now you could certainly buy these at arteza.com, and I do have a link below. I love these because they are a large package of them. And then also what's super cute about them is that they do come individually wrapped with the easel and the canvas already intact. I'm also going to be using these acrylic art pens from Arteza. And once again, I love these so much. If you're not a very good painter like myself, these are perfect. It's just like using a marker, and they work really, really well. So the first thing I'm going to do is unwrap everything, and then the idea is I'm going to wrap each individual canvas in some of this burlap fabric, because I'm trying to create kind of a modern farmhouse or farmhouse kind of a look. Now, the sheet of burlap that I cut off here, it will work for covering these 4 canvases. I'm just going to use my staple gun from Surebonder and literally just cover each one of those canvases. The first thing I'm going to do is just take my ruler out, get a nice straight line. That way I can have a good piece of canvas that will wrap around each one of those, or a good piece of burlap that I can wrap around each one of those canvases. Now, for part of my project, I am going to be using these Arteza acrylic markers. I really love working with these. They are literally as easy as writing with a marker. First thing you're going to do is just get your ink started or get your paint flowing into the tip. And then, as you can see, you can easily write something very, very simple. So I'm going to take my stencils that I did, yes, use duct tape on. It was the only tape that I had. And I am just going to go through and just trace out those stencils. And then I'm going to be coloring in each one of those using that Arteza acrylic marker. I'm only going to be doing the H, the M, and the E because I have another plan for the O. Now, the next thing I want to do is paint my canvases, and I want to use this acrylic paint from Arteza. This is a 20-piece set, and what I love about this is that it literally includes almost every color in the rainbow. You can't really go wrong with this set at all. And also what I love about it is the way that the paints blend. I think that the finish is super, super smooth, and I love the way that the colors combine with each other. So for this one, I'm going to be using copper, I'm going to be using red, and I'm going to be using a little bit of brown that I'm going to end up watering down. So guess what? The bonehead thing happened again, and I didn't film the painting of the canvases, or at least not all of it. As you can see there, I am taking that red and that kind of copper color, and I'm just kind of very liberally going over my canvases themselves. And then I did take some brown paint. That's where the bonehead thing comes in again, and did a wash over the easels themselves, kind of creating that redwood look. Now I'm going to take each one of my canvases and set up my H, my M, and my E, which of course means I am missing a canvas, but I think you know what letter it is. But for that letter, I thought it would be super cool to incorporate something else into that. So I am going to be adding this round succulent. And the succulent has some of the same colors that are in the red wood easels. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. Now I did remove that little red bow that I added in this particular version. And I just didn't like the bow itself. But once the bow was gone, I fell in love with this all over again. All right, you guys, and one last bonus project because you've been so patient with me throughout this video. I'm telling you, I almost did not post this video at all. For this next project, we're going to be using one of these hanging baskets, one of these LED lights from Dollar Tree, and also some of this nautical rope. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my nautical rope, and I did split it off into 3 pieces. You know how nautical rope is kind of all bundled together and you can kind of undo the ropes themselves. So that's what I did because I wanted the thinner pieces of rope. So now I'm simply just taking each one of those individual pieces of rope and I'm using them to wrap every other section on the basket itself. And I love the way that this is working. It's not taking as much hot glue as you might think. For this one, I am just kind of going on the edges of the wiring itself with hot glue and then just kind of working my way up. And then when I have a piece that needs to be kind of finalized, all I'm doing is folding it over on the backside and then simply just wrapping it around. Now, one of these pieces of my basket here did break, so I skipped that one and I tried to glue it in place, but it wasn't holding. I'm telling you, this was not my day. And I am going to go through here and just finish off this. I think it turned out really, really good. I love the way the flame hits that rope and kind of burns away all of those kind of random little strays. Of course, you want to do this in a controlled environment. Be careful, have a fire extinguisher handy, all that good stuff. And look at the way that just lights up. I love it. So the light bulb will actually come out of the LED light. And you want to be careful when you do this because those strings are still connected. So take your light bulb, kind of feed it up through there, and then you'll add your LED lights back into the light bulb itself, and then you'll simply just screw that back in. Now, I will say that the light bulb is kind of tight, so you do have to kind of have a gentle force on it, and it will unscrew, and then you'll be able to screw it in and unscrew it as much as you may need to for your project itself. Now, you'll see that the light doesn't fit snug on the lamp shade, and that is not going to work. So what I did was just flip this over, and I am going to add some hot glue into the sections that are touching, the sections of the basket that are touching the inside of that shade themselves. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add little tiny strips of duct tape right on top of the hot glue, and that will help hold everything together, and it will help keep that lampshade and that light bulb attached to each other. Now all you have to do is create some sort of hanging hardware. I just grabbed another piece of nautical rope and just created a hook on the end of it, and this is what you've got when it's all done. I love the way this looks. It is super, super cute, and if you're curious on how much light this puts off, yes, you will see it definitely puts out light. This is hanging in my office, and I really love the way this looks.